Close your eyes and try to walk straight across a field, not for 3 steps, not for 10. Keep going. At first, it feels simple. Your feet know what forward means. Your body has done this thousands of times. You are not lost. You are not dizzy. You are not confused. You are just walking. But after a while, something strange begins to happen. Without realizing it, you start to turn. A little to the left, or a little to the right. Not enough to notice. Not enough to feel like a mistake. Just a tiny bend, repeated again and again, until the straight line you thought you were walking becomes a curve. And if you keep going long enough, that curve can become a circle. You can end up almost exactly where you started, fully convinced the entire time that you were moving forward. This is one of the quietest betrayals in the human body. Take away the horizon, the sun, the stars, the shape of the land, the sound of a road, the line of trees, the edge of a building, and something inside you stops knowing what straight means. You do not need panic. You do not need darkness. You only need the world to stop giving you reference points. And then your own body begins to lie. For a long time, people treated this like folklore. Travelers lost in forests claimed they had walked for hours and somehow returned to the same place. People crossing fog, snow, desert, or dense woods described the same impossible feeling. They had chosen one direction, kept to it, and still curved back. It sounded like fear, or bad memory, or superstition. Then scientists started tracking it. In one modern experiment, researchers sent people walking through a large forest and across the Sahara desert while carrying GPS devices. The task was simple: walk in a straight line. When the sun was visible, many people did reasonably well. They drifted a little, but they could keep a general direction. But when clouds covered the sun, or when people walked at night with no moon, their paths began to curl. Some made huge loops. Some crossed their own tracks. Some walked in circles without noticing at all. From inside their own bodies, they felt like they were still going straight. The GPS showed something else. That is the frightening part. Getting lost is not always a failure of intelligence. Sometimes it is what happens when the brain loses the outside world and has to navigate using only itself. And itself is not enough. Your brain is constantly trying to answer one basic question: where am I going? To do that, it combines several imperfect systems. Your eyes track the world around you. Your inner ears sense rotation and balance. Your muscles and joints report the position of your limbs. Your feet feel slope, pressure, texture, and impact. Your brain stitches all of this together into one smooth illusion: direction. Most of the time, it works so well you never notice it. You walk down a hallway and do not think about balance. You cross a street and do not calculate the angle of your hips. You turn a corner and do not consciously rebuild the map of the city. The world gives you lines, roads, walls, doorways, sunlight, shadows, sound, other people moving in predictable paths. Your body makes tiny errors, and the world quietly corrects them. But remove those corrections, and the errors begin to accumulate. One leg may be slightly stronger. One step may be slightly longer. One hip may rotate differently. Your balance may lean by a fraction of a degree. Your inner ear may misread a turn, so small you never feel it. None of these errors matter on their own. But walking is repetition. Tiny mistake repeated thousands of times becomes a direction. This is why the circle feels so eerie. You do not suddenly turn around. You do not make one dramatic wrong choice. You just keep making the smallest possible mistake in the same direction. And your brain calls it straight. There is something almost cruel about that, because the feeling of walking straight is not proof that you are walking straight. It is only proof that your body has not noticed its own drift. Pilots know a version of this. When a plane enters cloud or darkness and the pilot loses visual reference, the body can become dangerously convincing. The inner ear may say the plane is level when it is banking. It may say the plane is turning when it is not. Pilot who trusts the feeling instead of the instruments can fly into a spiral without understanding what is happening. The body does not feel wrong. That is why it is dangerous. It feels completely right. Walking in circles is the same lesson at human speed. You are not built with an internal compass sharp enough to replace the sky. Some animals are. Migratory birds can use the Earth's magnetic field. Sea turtles cross oceans and return to beaches. Ants can leave a nest, wander through the desert, and still calculate a route home using sunlight and step counting. Salmon return through rivers with an accuracy that still feels almost impossible. Humans have intelligence, language, maps, satellites, and cities. But strip those away, and our raw navigation is surprisingly fragile. We are not natural compasses. We are world readers. We move well when the world gives us something to read. This is why the horizon matters so much. A distant landmark does something your body cannot do alone. turns direction into an outside fact. A mountain, a star, a tree line, the sun behind clouds, even the slope of a river valley gives your brain a fixed point to correct against. Without it, you are not walking through space. You are walking through your own guess. And your guess drifts. This is also why snowstorms are so dangerous. In a whiteout, the ground and sky can merge into one blank field. There is no edge, no shadow, no horizon, sometimes not even a clear sense of up and down. People can become disoriented just meters from safety. Cabin can be close enough to reach in 1 minute and still vanish from the mind's map. Fog does the same thing on water. Desert heat does it with distance. Dense forest does it by blocking long sight lines. Darkness does it by erasing everything except the few steps in front of you. The environment does not need to attack you. It only needs to stop helping. And once it stops helping, you learn how much of your confidence was borrowed from it. There is an old survival rule. If you are lost, stop. It sounds passive, almost cowardly, but it exists because movement feels useful, even when it is making things worse. The lost person wants to fix the fear by walking. Every step feels like progress. Every minute standing still feels like failure. But if you do not know your direction, walking can turn panic into distance. Or worse, into a circle. You can spend energy, lose heat, lose daylight, and come back to your own footprints. The body loves the feeling of action. The wilderness does not care. This is one of the deeper truths hidden inside the circle. Motion is not the same as progress. You can be exhausted and still not have gone anywhere. You can be certain and still be wrong. You can trust your sense of direction completely and still return to the exact place you were trying to leave. That does not only happen in forests, it happens in lives. People repeat the same argument with a different person. Chase the same kind of success and find the same emptiness. Leave one situation and recreate it somewhere else. Work harder and harder, convinced that effort itself means forward motion, only to discover they have bent back toward the same fear, the same habit, the same hunger. The human brain is very good at confusing intensity with direction. It thinks that because you are moving, you must be advancing. But a circle can be walked with total commitment. That is what makes it a circle. The only way out is reference, a compass, a star, a map, a landmark, another person, a principle you chose before the panic started. Something outside the feeling of the moment that can tell you when your feeling is wrong. Because feelings are not useless. They are just not instruments. Your body can tell you that you are tired, afraid, cold, hungry, lonely, excited, ashamed, in danger, or in love. But it cannot always tell you whether you are going straight. For that, you need the world. You need something that does not bend just because you do. The strange thing is that humans became powerful not by having perfect instincts, but by learning to distrust them at the right time. We made maps because memory was not enough. We made compasses because the body was not enough. We made lighthouses because the coast was not always visible. We made instruments because the sky could disappear. Civilization is partly the story of a creature building tools to correct the errors it could not feel. And maybe that is why walking in circles feels so unsettling. It exposes the gap between confidence and truth. The person lost in the woods is not always the one who feels lost. Sometimes, the most lost person is the one still walking with complete certainty, still placing one foot in front of the other, still saying this is the way. The curve does not announce itself. It just keeps bending, step by step, until forward becomes around. So if you ever find yourself in fog, in snow, in trees so dense that every direction looks the same, remember this. The danger is not only that you might not know where you are. The danger is that you might feel sure you do. And that is why humans walk in circles. Not because we are foolish, not because we are weak, but because the brain was never meant to navigate the blank world alone. It was meant to read the horizon, the sun, the stars, the river, the road, the faces beside it. Take all of that away, and the body keeps moving. The feet keep stepping. The mind keeps insisting it knows the way. And somewhere beneath that certainty, so slowly you cannot feel it, the line begins to